Okay, so this is just a quick video that I'm doing just to show you a way you can fix a problem where if you get a Windows 11 uh, laptop and you put a bigger SSD in it, then what will happen is that when you install it and you boot back into the Windows 11, what you'll find is that you can't resize the the boot volume, or I should say the main volume. And I don't know if this could be specific to certain manufacturers, but what it is, sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. But in this case, the one I'm showing you, it wouldn't work. And so this is an SSD that I've put into uh, like an external case, and what it is it's I've cloned it onto a larger one. So if you look at what it looks like originally, so you'll notice that the size of this SSD is 512 gigs. So it's the 512 gigs is there, and but as you can see, the size of the data volume is 220 gigs, and the rest of the ones are small. Now, what happened is in Windows, you can't resize this volume because if you try to, if you try to do that, because these ones are in the way, it won't allow you to actually do it once you boot it back into Windows. So what I actually need to do is I need to actually resize it here. Well, I've got it booted up in the proper operating system. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something called an application called Gparty. I mean, this version is a bit old, but what I'm doing will work the same, because one thing you find about proper Unix applications is that they tend to not break the interface when on the newer version, right? So notice it says that what's happened is because it's 500 gigs, and this original image I put on there is 256 gigs. It's saying that it wants me to relocate the backup GPT. Of course, I just fix that because you have to fix it so that it can actually perform the operation. So now, what I'm going to show you that you can do this. You can get like a Gparted sort of CD and boot your laptop from it, or even you could just connect it up. If you're clever enough, you can actually get a virtual machine and put the SSD into put into USB external, and then you pass it through to the virtual machine. But anyway, I want to show you how to do it this way. So what you want to do is, this is the volume which you're going to want to try to expand inside Windows later, but I just want to check. It's just saying you can't read them. But you see, this is the other important thing, is I don't care about the file systems, and that's important. So what I'm going to do is, what we have to do is basically move this. So you select it. And so what I'm going to do is move it to the end. It doesn't matter. So now, this is the one that needs resizing. So in order for this to work, we have to move these other ones as well. And you see, the important thing is that when I'm making these moves, the IDs of these partitions doesn't change, and the size doesn't change at all. So I don't need any file system utilities. This is only going to be this is only going to be changing the position of the partition. No, actually, no, I just want to check something, because I don't think. Yeah, let me see. Okay, it's 1 MB. I don't know why there's 1 MB space between them. Maybe you need it, maybe you don't. It's hard to say. But anyway, so there's a 1 MB gap. So let's make sure we do that again. So we move this one to the end, because it was at the end before. Yeah, we don't. And so then this one, let's move this one, and we want the free space following it to be 1 MB. I don't know why. Oh no, sorry. Free space preceding 2. Yeah, that's correct. Free space following 1 megabyte. Yeah, we don't care. So, and then we move this one as well. We move this to the end. And the important thing is that we don't resize any of it, because obviously if you resize it, you can corrupt the file system. So now here's the important bit. Don't do anything else. So just leave it like this. As long as this partition here, the next one along is unallocated, job's done. And remember, we're only affecting when I'm doing this operation, I'm only affecting the partition. No file system operations should be done. So the fact I'm getting these exclamation marks is actually good, because I don't want to touch the file systems at all. So now I'm going to apply all the operations. I'm going to get a big horrible warning. Okay, it's not that horrible. Yeah, we got it backed up anyway. So we click apply. What's this problem? Okay, I'm back again. So I think I've just been wasting time, because I think it's just because I didn't unplug and plug the. But let me find out, because I know this worked before, so I don't know why it messed up. So I think, let me see. All right, so let's see. It's worked before, so I don't see why suddenly it stopped working, because I've done this multiple times. And it's just odd that it gave me that error. So let me see what happened. Okay, so now, hold on, what happened? I think it was just the mouse. Alright, so that's what I normally do. And so I think maybe it's just because these weren't showing up. So let's see if it messes up this time. Right. Right. So yeah, so I think I get it now. The reason why it messed up is because it didn't know what the file systems were. So that's something I should remember. Right. So now what it's doing is moving the data across, and the reason why I have to do it this way is because I just did a quick check beforehand and found out that gparted is the only utility that does this easily. Everything else is hard. So that's why this has to work. So it's official now that if you get an error with gparted when you're trying to do this, you're going to have to try and fix the error, because trying to do it any other way is just too much hassle. Okay, so that's done. So now, so I'm just checking. So did it calibrate? See, check the file system. Well, but this, anyway, the important thing is, even though NTFS resize ran on it, the important thing is that as long as you don't run this on your main file system, so it doesn't matter if it runs it on these other ones, because they're not important. So, right, so now we've got this unallocated space. Now, the thing you don't want to do is to resize this. If you do that, then the disk management in Windows will not expand it. So you just got to leave it unallocated like this, and that's the end of the operation. So now I'm going to continue this on the actual laptop once I've put this drive back into it, and then we'll see the conclusion of it. Okay, so I was going to be, I wanted to record this differently using the screen capture, but turns out it's using the old version of Windows. Yeah, so this is the laptop after I installed the SSD. So it's got the 512 gig SSD in it, which had the image, the 256 gig image put onto it. And so now, as you remember in the previous one, I'd moved the the partitions at the end. And so after I move those partitions, as you can see, it's still successfully booted up. So that's good. So now what I have to do is go into, so you just right click on start once you boot it in, and then go to this computer management. And then once we're in computer management, actually I think disk management, well, I don't know, but anyway, so we go to disk management. As you can see, here's the drive. And so remember, the important thing that I did do was I did not resize this file system, because if you resize the partition or resize this file system outside of Windows, that's it. You're done. You can't do anything after that. And it's either you have to leave it or you have to re-image the SSD. So as you can see, these are the partitions afterwards. It says that they're healthy. So it shows the move didn't affect them in a way that Windows didn't like. So now, if we click on the partition for the C, and I think it's just because so if I select the C, and then if I right click on that, and then what I want to do is extend volume. And now the important thing is, if I've messed up, this next part, the number, which is I think it's in the right section, will be like 0. But if it has a big number in there, then we've made it. Right, yeah, see, so select the amount. See, space available is 244187. So what that means is that the way I've done it is successful, and that now all I have to do is just see, it's saying there, select the amount that I want to extend it by, and it's giving you what the total size is going to be. It's going to be, well, that's the total size of the well, I don't know what that means, whether it's the new size. But if I click on next, then it will say, complete. So we're going to complete the wizard. Then when I click finish, you wait a bit and there you have it. So now, as you can see, it's 458.53 gigs. And so that's how you can successfully extend the volume on an SSD when you've got these extra partitions at the end. Because I know what a lot of people do is they just go into some useless partition program, they delete these recovery partitions, but they're there for, they could come in handy someday. So this is the proper way to do it, essentially. And yeah, it's hard doing it inside Windows, but I mean, come on, you have to admit that Windows isn't the best operating system in the world. It's just basically an operating system to help the zombies get on with their day. But as you can see now, so now it says 458 gigs. And so what we can do is just make sure that that is true by just checking in good old File Explorer. So if you just right click on, well, just click on the, and so then that will open up. And so then if I go to this PC, as you can see, now we've got 290 gigs free. So before, as you can see, if you take away 256, that would give you, about 90, 50, about 30 something gigs free. And that's how much it used to be before. But now, as you can see, we got 290 gigs free after I'd moved those extra partitions to the end. And so basically that is how you would complete the process after you've moved those partitions, like I did earlier in the video.